Shut the fuck up.
Edmonton, Alberta, Canada! Where's Edmonton all?
This is T.Y. Jackson.
United States Women's Champion Chelsea Green.
How you doing, people?
And I love pro wrestling.
I love pro wrestling.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome to the Brunch Gimmick. I am Lawrence Kurtze. We are live. Another big week in wrestling, as yesterday was AEW Wrestle Dream.
Hi, I'm Maxine Dupree.
And I'm Otis.
Hi, I'm the sweetest pea, Christara.
Mars, the specialist.
And I love wrestling.
And I love pro wrestling.
And we
love wrestling.
Bottoms up, brains on. Welcome to Quizplex here on Love Wrestling, your pro wrestling trivia charity show. My name is Zach Ralph. I will be your host.
This is God's gift to wrestling, Michael Richard Blaze.
We are the Usos.
This is Rachel Ellering.
And we love wrestling.
And I love pro wrestling.
And I love pro wrestling.
Hello, Love Wrestling. It is Thursday night. It is 8 p.m. and you all know what that means.
Well, you better know by now. It's episode 235 of this thing.
I guarantee you there's like an 85% chance that's not an accurate number.
Hi, this is Shaz McKenzie.
This is Big Bad Boris.
This is the Rhinestone Cowboy, Stephen Crow.
And I love pro wrestling.
And I love pro wrestling.
And I love wrestling.
If you're here, thanks for being here. It's For Exposure, Love Wrestling's Independent Weekend podcast, where we break down all the best happenings on the world of the independent wrestling side.
I'm Penta. I'm wrestling. And what?
I'm the alternative Anthony Green.
And I love pro wrestling.
And I love wrestling.
And I love wrestling.
I love wrestling. And you know what? Penta Zero.
That's called scatting, kids. It is 8 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It is time for a excitingly fun, I hope, episode of Saturday Night Love. My name is Big Bad Boris.
I'm Big Ben Ortmans.
Hi, this is Smiley Kylie Ray.
I'm Miss Guy.
And I love wrestling.
And I love wrestling.
And I love pro wrestling.
Of course.
Good morning, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. We are live. It is the Brunch Gimmick, and we have a big show for you today. We have not one, but two guests. Maria, hello. Hope you're having a great weekend. We're going to get into Canadian Deathmatch Wrestling, which is a great promotion right here in Canada. We're going to talk about that. We've got two guests, and one of them is an old friend. But just off the top, obviously, we'll just quickly mention I unplugged my mic for a second. There we go. We're good. Yeah. Yesterday, of course, the most predictable thing happened, as we mentioned that week. It was very telegraphed that Cody Rhodes winning the WWE Championship back, setting up a match with Randy Orton. We'll talk about more of that next week because we do have two guests. Didn't do, but again, I just felt the whole thing was a little predictable. I think it's the better match with him and Randy Orton, and I would have rather them now. I know they're setting up Drew versus Jacob Fatu, but I kind of want to see Nick Aldis back in the ring. I get it because it's Cody, and everyone's sort of like getting Cody fatigue a little bit. But I think it was the better build to like it's the bigger match to WrestleMania because it's their all-star event at the end of the year. But we will get into that next week. I have not one but two guests this week. First off, we got old friend, somebody we love here at Love Wrestling, former contributor, now the producer of digital media for Deathmatch Wrestling, Canadian Deathmatch, Mike Indeed. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm lovely. How are you, Lawrence? I'm like I vibing to the theme song. I'm like, yes, takes me back to many Sundays on this show with you.
I'm doing good. We also have another guest, which you brought along. We got Shawn Smith, the head of Canadian Deathmatch, the lead booker, the writer. Shawn, how are you doing? How's your weekend going?
I'm well. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat about this with you, and glad that Mike's here as well. Mike's been a big part of our team. So yeah, thank you both.
Yeah, so I have a lot of questions for both of you off the rip. First of all, for people who don't know what Canadian Deathmatch is, what can they expect from a show when they first get there?
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, it's a show that I think people have preconceived notions about what deathmatch is in terms of the level of violence and, the kind of maybe like a lack of organization and that kind of thing. But I think we try to bring somewhat of a professionalism to deathmatch wrestling, and we really try to put the wrestling in deathmatch wrestling. So we go out of our way to bring in talent that knows how to wrestle, that can put on a really good match, and you're still going to get that level of violence that you want from a deathmatch wrestling show, but you're going to get some wrestling as well.
Yeah. Mike, what was the first time you went was as a fan, right? At a Canadian Deathmatch show?
No. So one of the lovely owners of Canadian Deathmatch, Maddie, he hit me up like a couple months before their first show. Because this is when I'd already like started like filming around wrestling rings anyway. And he hit me up and was just like, "Hey, would you be interested in filming our first show?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I love Deathmatch." I was already excited I was hyping it up as a fan because I was gonna go just to watch the show. And then they hit me up so I was like, "Oh, I'll be there anyway. I guess now I'll just be working at it instead." And then I had like one of the best days I've ever had in wrestling, and continue to do that like every time I go there. It's just like I was like, "Oh, I feel like I found my people." Like almost immediately. And it was such like a natural fit of just like, I feel so good here. And then they were like, "Hey, we like you." So it was great. I just, I keep coming back, and then they keep giving me more work to
do. And now Mike has an official role with us. He's helping to produce digital media. He's not just putting it over on his channel. A lot of what we're going to put out with our video work is going to go, have Mike's touch on it moving forward, which, helps us because it makes our product a lot better, and hopefully it helps him too.
Yeah.
Shucks.
Like I was lucky enough to be at one of your shows in Toronto this past year. The No Ring show, and that was a lot of fun. Like I've been to a few No Ring shows here in Montreal. Like this one too was very well done. Like top to bottom, the card was great.
Thank you.
I want to take you back a bit. How did Canadian Deathmatch get started?
So me and two of the other owners, Maddie, who we previously mentioned, and Dylan Graydon, were working for another promotion, and that was kind of fading. We were on our way out, and we felt like we had more to contribute to the wrestling world. And we were kind of looking at like, okay, so where does it make sense for us to start something, and what kind of wrestling do we want to tackle? So Hamilton's our home home city for this. Hamilton has a very healthy wrestling scene and has for a number of years. So we kind of said to ourselves, okay, if we're going to start a promotion that's Hamilton based, what's the goal for it? What do we want to do with this? And we're all fans of deathmatch wrestling, not exclusively, but it's one of the many styles of wrestling that we love. And we thought that when you look across Canada, there is a lack of deathmatch wrestling. When you consider, Lawrence, you're a big wrestling fan. You probably can tell that there's big deathmatch wrestling scenes in the UK, and Australia's got a big scene, in Japan, in the United States, and Canada's kind of, or at least has been, kind of behind the ball. IWS does amazing stuff. There's another small promotion here in Ontario that's done some good stuff. But overall, the deathmatch scene here in Canada has kind of lagged behind other countries our size. So we felt there was a place there where we could make a contribution, and we started with the tournament show, the Crazy Eight, which is what we're doing again this year. Just because I feel like the tournament has so much lore in deathmatch wrestling. You look back to those King of the Deathmatch tournaments in the '90s, those Cactus Jack and Terry Funk matches that are so iconic. Starting with the tournament gave us a way to establish ourselves. And the idea originally was that we would just have the tournament. We would put on a show, and maybe we would do one show yearly where it's just the tournament. And it kind of snowballed from there. And people like Mike jumping on board and helping spread the word helped a lot, because I think there was this hunger for this kind of wrestling here.
Go ahead, Mike.
Something like usually whenever I'm like referring to like Canadian deathmatch and stuff, it's like a lot of the time I refer to the fan base of deathmatch wrestling in Canada as like underserved, because it exists. There's deathmatch wrestling. Like I am one. I'm someone who's been sitting here going like why I watch IWS in Montreal and see that I've seen the violence there firsthand, and I've been like I need this in my life. Like that's not 8 hours away. And then you see the prevalence of it in the US, and I'm like, I'm sitting here myself. So like I've experienced the want for it to like now I'm like, okay, it's so cool to like provide it.
Yeah, and I think what you mentioned, Mike, about it feeling, I don't know, I feel like a lot of promoters say like they have a family vibe with their audience, but it really does feel like we have almost like a family reunion every show. Like we have a solid fan base where, we are very approachable for them. Like we can go up to them and, give them big hugs. Like we have this group of people from Niagara who wear luchador masks, and they're there every single show, and they're going to be rowdy. And we've got so many other people who are going to show up. They're going to bring the energy. They know like they can depend on us to bring the level of violence that they're looking for. So it really becomes this almost family reunion, or this community that we have that's really special to be a part of.
Yeah, like the Niagara Luchas are at it. Like they're at every show. There's a bunch of regular fans that are just like, and it's like, it's almost like I'm just seeing like these friends constantly now, and they're all I can't wait for the show. They get there, and it's just for such an ultra violent atmosphere. It's a very loving place.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I definitely got that vibe when I was there. Like it felt like everyone, like almost everyone knew each other there. That I like, especially like the promotions I regularly do. It's the same vibe. Like I mentioned IWS. IWS has the same vibe, and so does C4, which Mike also shoots at. Like it just happens to like those promotions that like I happen to enjoy all have the same like very welcoming vibe to them.
It's very easy to like show up as a new fan and just become pretty immersed in the world. Like there's a lot of people at the Toronto show you referenced. That was September. That was Malice at the Palace when we were at Lee's Palace, which that's still a crazy thing to be like.
Yeah.
Did a deathmatch show at Lee's Palace in Toronto. That's wild. But part like when I was there, so the band that played that show, Crosshair, they're you know, they have some like fringe wrestling fandom in the band, but like there was a lot of people who came to that show that were also like, because they have a pretty decent fan base in Toronto for with their band. So there was and what a great band, they were promoting their show, even though they were playing just like an intermission set, but they had fans come out to that had like never been to wrestling or had never been to deathmatch wrestling specifically, and were like, had maybe been to like a Raw or a SmackDown in Toronto or something like that, but never really like they'd heard about this kind of thing, but they'd never been there. And the overwhelming amount of people that were just like, oh, this is amazing. It was, it was so much more upbeat, and like I thought it would be like I'd be scared this whole time and like freaked out. It was super fun. It was so easy for them to get like into it and engage. They were all like, can't wait to come back. When are you coming back to Toronto? And they definitely showed back up in January. It was good to see.
Considering the storm, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, especially like considering like that show had a thumbtack covered dildo. You're like, it's nice to see people come back after that. I mean, like, yes, this is what I want to see at all shows.
Those are the people that we're trying to get out. Like, I think what's really cool about our shows is that, yes, you do have wrestling fans, but so many of the people that come are coming from other fan bases too. We have those hardcore music fans. I think we have like a horror and goth kind of vibe to some of our audience too. It's all these kind of communities within communities of people who are looking for people who are like them. You know what I mean? So yes, we have like some wrestling fans, but we've got all these other kind of niche fan bases who can come to our shows and feel represented and feel like, hey, these are my people. I'm so excited to get to spend time with my people.
Honestly, a thumbtack covered dildo is a draw.
Yeah. It's why I was there. I was hoping for it. I'm the biggest fan.
I'm glad we could deliver. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to make a comeback.
I'll see what I can do.
I do like the creativity of the person who has to glue that like an hour before a show.
Shout out to Billy the Deathmatch janitor. Yeah. I mean, he's so organized.
Can we glaze Billy for like 5 minutes at least?
Like, so we're very fortunate that as we were starting this project, Billy reached out to us and was like, hey, I love deathmatch. He's probably the biggest deathmatch fan of all of us in terms of like, he's not really like a wrestling fan outside of deathmatch the way the rest of us are. He loves deathmatch wrestling. And he was like, I'd love to build some weapons. And, the more we talked to him, the more we felt like our views and our interests were aligned. And he's become an integral part of the show where, like, if people see Billy setting up weapons, you'll hear a Billy chant. Like, and he's also, just such a huge part of what we do behind the scenes. Like, he is not, you kind of mentioned like gluing stuff together an hour before. We are like, we try to be organized in that, like, we're talking with talent about, what kind of stipulations do you want? What kind of weapons do you want? What kind of weapons do you not want? Like, we have guys that, are just like, no, we're not working with glass. And we can, we can respect where their limits are and still have them put on a hell of a match that still feels violent and still gives them the opportunity to showcase what they can do.
Yeah, his creativity is off the charts too. Like,
Truly.
some of the things that he has deathmatchified and weaponized. My favorite, I think. What's your favorite Billy weapon you've seen so far?
For me,
yeah.
I mean, I think the Billy bats are iconic. The way that he has these plastic bats that are covered in tacks, but the way he uses the super glue as almost like a single sheet of tacks, they come off as one piece. So, I mean, I'm thinking there's been a number of moments where that's that's
Brandon St. James.
worked out. The Brandon St. James one. At the first show, Tyler Arrow got hit in the head with him, and he had a mohawk of tacks straight up the top of his head like this. That was all almost one piece. So those are that's kind of the most iconic. I know he's got a ton of stuff he's working on for this next show, Mike. I don't even know how much of it you've seen yet, but you're going to see some wild stuff for April.
I try to remain surprised, but for me, it's still like when I saw that he restrung ukuleles with barbed wire.
I still have.
That's when I was like, this guy's on some other shit entirely. Like that was the second show, and once I saw that, and then every now and then I'll just DM him like a really stupid, like just the dumbest shower thought weapon I could possibly think of, and he'll like put some thought to it and be like, I actually think I could make that happen somehow, some way, someday. And he's just magnificent. He's
an artist.
We're blessed that, for that. This is the weapons master who has, found his way into our lives.
I think that ukulele, he should get a like honorary engineering degree from some school. Like that is artistry right there.
So
I'll talk to McMaster, see what I can do.
Yeah.
he definitely did get a kind of like a stamp of approval from Neil Diamond Cutter in regards to his weapon crafting, which I think I think that speaks volumes to his workmanship.
Yeah, I mean, so we sponsored a match for another promotion because huge part of what we're about is making a scene, right? Like we say that we had a show named that, but it's really about can we help other promotions, build deathmatch as well. So we had Neil Diamond Cutter came up and took on that Kyle for another promotion, and Billy did all the weaponry for it. He did an amazing job, and Neil Diamond Cutter has this kind of he'll crown people weapons masters. That's the name of it for people who are worthy of the title. And Billy is his first Canadian weapons master. So that's a title I think Billy holds dearly, and he should be very proud of.
Yeah, like I think also like after like me starting to go into like more like seeing more hardcore matches and death matches, you start seeing weapons everywhere and start thinking about it. Like I had a keyboard that broke at work. I'm like, I kind of want to keep this aside. If they do another Fans Bring the Weapons match and see what they can do with this.
Well, come on down in April. We are having one.
We're going to get into that as well. I have a question for you, Shawn. Since doing this, what was the like biggest surprise that you've had since starting your own promotion? Like both positive and negative. Like what are the things that surprised you the most?
I think the biggest positive, we kind of already talked about it, is the community feel and the way that like I can walk out and give fans a hug, and it's not this separation of like backstage guy and fans the way that I think I thought it was, and maybe some other promotions are, where like I'll go out for the hour before the show and just be like shaking hands and giving hugs and making sure the fans have everything they need. And I'm talking to Mike and I'm talking to Billy, and I'm just saying like, you guys have everything you need. Like, just making sure that everything's in place. But yeah, really the community has been the biggest positive surprise for sure. In terms of a negative surprise, I don't know if I have one. Like, I had run shows before, so really it was just kind of the money piece of everything was the only thing that I hadn't really been super involved in before. And I think we've done a good job for a promotion that is essentially a year old, a little over a year old, of breaking even or close to breaking even. We talked about Lee's Palace and Sneaky D's; those are huge kind of accomplishments for us. So in terms of a bad surprise, I mean, the biggest difficulties I think on my heart or my morale has been the injuries. Like I carry some guilt for the injuries that have happened on our shows, but also know that like, the talent signs up for this in a way, and it is part of what they do. So.
Yeah. Mike, so you've been doing like independent editing for a minute. You've really gotten your business off the ground. How How has that been, and how has it been starting out with both Canadian Deathmatch and like working stuff like C4?
It's so I love having like Canadian. It's been a pretty weird, like very whirlwind, like it's only been 16 months since I filmed my first show. So like it's been like it's been a whole lot of shit in a very short period of time where like I learned I it floors me to think actually you know circling back to like Maddie hitting me up before the first Canadian Deathmatch show, because like at the time I think about the content that I'd like filmed and edited and put out, and I'm like, that's dog shit, and I would be like terribly embarrassed to like put something like that out now.
Yeah.
But then like, so it was like already okay, it wasn't bad, but it was just like compared to what I do now, I'm just like, wow, like I know I could do. I wish I could go back and do some of those like first couple videos over again. So it was like really cool. You know, it's just wild thinking that like someone hit me up, even was like, hey, you know, come work for us. But also like at the same time, the way I've been able to just grow with Canadian Deathmatch, it's like they give me so much freedom to just try a lot of dumb ideas that I have, and like they just trust me, and I appreciate it endlessly, because you know, as a creative, that's all you can really hope for, is just like people just be like, all right, you have an idea, I'll let you run with it. And then have it also like it's a very unique brand of wrestling that I don't get to film basically anywhere else. Like it's almost like it's harder but easier for me to do content for Canadian Deathmatch in the way of it's something that's got such a passionate and dedicated fan base behind it that like I want to make the best shit I possibly fucking can for them. So I'm always challenging myself to like really showcase the violence and showcase what makes Canadian Deathmatch so fucking awesome. But then, so that's hard, but then it's like, it's super easy because it's like all of this shit that I've been dying to do that I can't do anywhere else. I have like a vehicle where I can actually, you know, utilize those ideas and like, you know, play with the most extreme music I can find, and like play with super dark imagery and like blood, you know, like this is like the place where that's like, yes. So it's, I love having that art, like that art vehicle, and then also to showcase the incredible work that like the roster does, Billy does with his weapons, the community. I try to highlight the community as much as I can in the videos, because like we've come back to it a few times. It's just, it's such an incredible atmosphere, and it's like nowhere else that I get to work. And it's, I don't know if I answered your question properly.
No, that's perfect.
But...
Can I touch on that quickly? You know, I really am proud of the fact that we've created an environment where people like Mike and really all of us are able to kind of express that artistic side of ourselves, and we're all able to, you know, push the limits of what we're capable of, but also feel like you're allowed, or feel like you have that space to do those things. You know, I can't do my videos the way Mike does. I never will be able to. So one thing I'm really proud of is that we've put people in spots where they can succeed, and I think that really applies to everybody involved. You know, we haven't talked about our videographer Scott, who has done incredible work for us and really making our video product feel different from I think anybody else's in Canada right now. But I also think that freedom spills into the roster too, right? Like we have so many guys who will come to me and be like, "Hey, I've been really wanting to try this. Are you cool if I try that?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, let's try it." You know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's okay. There's always another show. And I think guys show up wanting to do a good job and wanting to, put their best foot forward, and they're willing to put their bodies on the line because they see that, we are also putting everything we have into this, and they've also have the space to kind of be the best versions of themselves.
Yeah. You both actually just mentioned it. The roster. Who are some of the names you feel somebody like both of you people should check out and should know more about that regularly work with you guys at Canadian Deathmatch?
You go first, Mike.
Tyler Arrow. I'm wearing them. Tyler Arrow. If you're, kind of one of the beautiful things that's manifested through Canadian Deathmatch is like his participation in like the interspecies wrestling Kings of Crazy tournament now, like 2 years in a row. That came off of Mike at Interspecies seeing the
Crazy
match,
Eight.
the Crazy 8 tournament, and seeing Tyler Hill versus Tyler Arrow in the first round. And is like, damn, I want to book that guy for my deathmatch tournament now. And so, but like Tyler Arrow, he's someone and that this speaks honestly for quite a bit of the roster. Tyler Arrow, PD Skills, Tyler Hill before he retired from deathmatch and for wrestling. But like those are guys that you see them around Ontario having great matches in promotions all around the place, and it's like to be able to see them scratch that like the ultra violent itch super hard and showcase their freak side a little more. It's really, really special to be like, whoa. But then and then it also reminds you of like the wrestling focus that does go into Canadian Deathmatch. It's like the those boys can wrestle, and then also just happen to cut themselves and you up at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel so blessed to get to work with everybody on our roster. It's hard to list people because I don't want to forget people, but PD Skills being our champion, he's defended that belt in the U.S. He's been in Quebec multiple times. He'll be in Quebec again this weekend if you're looking for a show, Lawrence. I mean, Tyler Arrow has been incredible. He has embraced the product fully since day one. We got to work with Tyler on other shows prior to Canadian Deathmatch, and he's one of the best in the province. That Kyle, I think, has come a long way. Brian Samuels came in as a kind of a last-minute replacement for us. Filled in on one day's notice against Wade Allen, who's another monster that we absolutely love. And he put on, I mean, some people call it their favorite Canadian Deathmatch match yet. Brian Samuels versus Wade Allen, the dog collar match, and Nuno's won. Matt Cash and Jesse Mack have been great. He's kind of a piece of shit, but Brandon St. James has been a great no links champion for us.
He's sorry to run into, but and where Brandon has brought that no ring title, and like as much as he he carries the name Canadian Deathmatch to many places, as much as he maybe doesn't. he's the nicest things about us.
Yeah, he's a prick, but I mean, in the ring or in the no ring, I mean, there's few that can be compared with him. I think he's one of the best in the world. Hopefully, he doesn't hear this. There's so many guys who we love. Hardcore, is a guy who has been everywhere, and from day one really embraced this idea. I give him a lot of props all the time when I'm talking to him. Like, you didn't have to embrace this product, and you did. And that's pretty cool. I mean, Rush Rancid at our first show, we had an open call out for who wants to come try deathmatch, like, get in touch. And Rush Rancid had never done a deathmatch before. And he's like, fuck it, I'll do the tournament. Who cares? And we want to be a place where people can come try those new things. So we were super excited to have him on board. Josh Vandercruz, who is kind of a prick as well. I mean, he's the guy who broke Hardcore's leg last year, and he's bragged about it ever since. He's a very talented wrestler. Jesse Amato is another guy who really jumped on board. He had a great match with Green Phantom at our inaugural show. Green Phantom, someone I'm sure you're familiar with, Lawrence. They had a great match on the first show. So I'm sure I'm forgetting many, but there's so many people on our roster that I'm just like, I have to pinch myself regularly and be like, why do I get to do this? Why do I get to be kind of the head or the operations manager of such a cool project?
Yeah. You mentioned community too, but also like, whatever is the goal to also like tour Canadian Deathmatch around Ontario as well as much as possible, like outside of Hamilton?
Yeah, I mean, at a pace that makes sense. I mean, what I think has been really important to us is making sure that it feels sustainable. So we're trying to do things in a way where you're not jumping too far. I see so many promotions that are like, they're Ontario based or whatever, and then they'll do a show on the West Coast or the East Coast or something, and then, that'll be one of those things that kind of sinks them. We're trying to grow at a pace that makes sense. We're trying to bring in we're trying to be strategic about all of it. We have like a number of talent from the Oshawa area, so we could probably run up that way if we wanted to. We have a number of guys that we bring in from the Ottawa area, so we could slowly move that way as well. Outside of Ontario, I think that's a long-term goal. We'd love to do that, especially considering the name Canadian Deathmatch. But for now, what we've really tried to do is bring in talent from across Canada until we're at a point where we can really kind of take this show on the road. So we've had, Tara Zepp was Vancouver based for a long time. She's been on our shows. Christian Starr from Edmonton. We've had a number of talent from Quebec. We've had a number of talent from the US. So we've really tried to diversify who's on the roster and having talent from all over the place. And the other thing, Mike said, yes, you can see this talent and the Ontario-based talent, you can see a lot around here, but you can't see them in this kind of atmosphere. So you can go see, Brian Samuels wrestle at these other shows and he's incredible and he does amazing work, but you're not going to see him covered in blood standing on thumbtacks without his shoes on. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different kind of violence, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Shawn, we talked a little bit, Mike, earmuffs for a second. How's it been working with Mike for
terrible?
Like if you want to fire him right now, go ahead.
Yes, actually, yes, live on air.
Yeah.
Mike, you're fired. No, I mean, Mike's great.
I just got a bunch of days back.
Yeah, Mike's year just opened up. For anyone who wants to hire Mike, he's now has a lot of free time. No, Mike is wonderful. I didn't know Mike before our first show really at all. Like, I knew of you. And over the last year, like outside of wrestling, we've become very good friends. Like we'll go have coffee regularly. We try new spots in our city, Hamilton. And I feel very blessed to have Mike in my life outside the ring. In the wrestling world, I mean, we've traveled to shows. We've been to Ottawa together now. We've been to different areas of Ontario. He's a great passenger princess for me. But Mike's work, I think, is top notch, and it was so. Mike has asked a couple of times, like, how can I be more involved? Can I be part of this project outside of the amazing videos he does? And we were able to work something out where Mike is the lead on all the videos you're going to see on social media for us. So again, that helps us because I can't do what Mike does. Mike's unique flair. He understands kind of the vision of Canadian Deathmatch, the desire to put the talent first and present something that feels different from anyone else in Canada today. It's really important to us to feel like we're creating something that is artistically different from everyone else, or else what's the point? Mike is a professional ringside as well. He understands his job. He understands to stay out of the way of other people and not get in the fans' way, and all those things that, a kind of a rookie videographer may not be aware of, because Mike's been doing this for, well over a year now. Because he's a fan of pro wrestling, he knows all those things already. So, I mean, no complaints about working with Mike. He's wonderful.
Gosh, shucks.
Speaking of which,
checks in the mail, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Actually, I'll just do the A transfer. Fuck.
Yeah.
We don't gotta wait.
Still sending checks like it's 1995.
I don't know if I don't know if I have a check. I have a checking account. I don't think I have checks.
I
Not in
usually,
years.
yeah, I literally just have to like get one when a specimen check when you've got to do like direct deposit with like a new company.
Yeah.
E-transfer did to checks what like Netflix did to Blockbuster, basically.
Yeah. Mike, so speaking of which, I was of your talent, like I was listening to a podcast this week, listen to Effie's podcast, and lo and behold, who comes up but Mike Indeed. You've been editing some of his videos recently for his podcast, Weekend at Effie's. How'd that come about, and what it's like working with Effie?
Oh, he put out a call on Twitter, very vaguely, just being like, if I wanted my podcast edited into, how do I do that? And a couple people actually, shout out Wade Allen. Wade Allen tagged me in that. That's how I saw the tweet.
That's our community, though. That's what we talk about.
Yeah, like, and so, like, circle it right. I'll find a way to tie this into Canadian Deathmatch.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like shout out Wade and a couple other people. They tagged me in it, and I was just like, hey, dog, I do that. Now I just do that. It was not a arduous process in the slightest. It was about as like 2026 on get shit done on the internet as you can get, and yeah, I video editing, it's like that's it's my job, like, and so I'm just like, okay, I have another client now. That's kind of how.
Mike, I think you're kind of underselling how big of a deal it is. I mean, I think Weekend at Effie's is one of the best wrestling related shows on the internet today, and I think as a fan of independent wrestling, I hold Effie in very high regard. So when you were just so Mike presented this to me like casually in a phone call or a text or something recently, as if it wasn't a big deal, and I was like, Mike, are you talking about the same Effie I'm talking about? Like, what?
It's like, so for me, I'm like, what? It is like, again, it's like my job, so I'm like, okay, it's like I'm doing I'm doing a work thing, so like I have to I have to put my admiration. I
get it.
I don't, but also on one side, I have to treat it professionally, just for my own sake. Just because if I don't, then like that's when I get to that's when like I kind of like I try to still like keep some work mode going with stuff like that. But yeah, it's one of the more fun things. It's the most I laugh doing probably any work I've done in the last month, just because like, how do you listen to Weekend at Effie's and not like there's a good laugh out loud moment at least like every 15-20 minutes in there. I'll just be going through it. I'm like, I choked on my coffee laughing at a clip I made last night. I was like, do I get hazard pay if I choke on my coffee? Like, like how does this work? But it's been really, really fun. Obviously, it's a super enjoyable show. It's a great podcast. It's one of the more insightful and like down to earth and fucking grounded people in wrestling, who is a very honest and outspoken figure. So it's like, I don't know, it's very it's really cool.
It's inspiring. I think Effie's really inspiring, even for us. I mean, he's done some deathmatch, but not a ton. But the outspoken piece, I think, is something that a lot of promotions could learn a lot from. We had a couple fuck ice things that we put up, and I haven't seen a lot of that from people in the industry. So I think people should, stand on their beliefs more. Not to cut you off, Mike, but
I agree. Also, like, the other thing for me too is it's kind of just funny, like that. I do work for him now because my whole initial approach to filming and editing directly circles back to a Weekend at Effie's quote from Effie that I heard a couple of years ago. And it resonated with me super hard. And it's if you're going to start filming wrestling or producing wrestling content, but filming it mainly, and this is like speaking of like in like a ringside and production sense, but like you have to try to make it look different than how everyone's made it look for the last 50 years at least, because it's been shot basically the same, like, right. And it's true, wrestling, mind you, there's not a lot of different ways you could shoot wrestling, what I mean? Like a hard cam and then a couple of roamers is like, that's your ideal setup. But like in terms of like angles and editing and shot selection, like the way I do, like that's been like it's at the forethought of my creative process, is like this FE quote. So it's kind of funny now that it's like, oh, and now I just be like, hey,
full circle.
Yeah, it's kind of full circle. It's pretty fucking
weird. shout out to our friends at Hybrid Championship Wrestling who are bringing FE in May. I do some show producing for them as well. Mike does some filming for them, and they're bringing in FE on May 30th here in Ontario. So very excited to finally get to work with FE. That feels like a big thing.
Yeah. One of the last questions I had for you guys was like, if speaking of which, if you had like scheduling was an issue and money was an issue, the two biggest factors in independent wrestling, like who would you want to bring in to Canadian Deathmatch that hasn't been there yet?
I mean, for a match, I really like Matt Tremont. I think Matt Tremont does great work. He does a really good job of making, pulling the curtain back. He does a good job of making other talent look really good. This is super pie in the sky, but Jun Kasai is, I think the greatest deathmatch wrestler of all time. He would be, that's a miracle kind of piece to bring in, but he would be, if we're talking about talent, that if there were no kind of situation where he couldn't do it, then those would probably be the two that come to mind. I'm sure if you asked me in an hour, I'd have probably a different one, but Jun Kasai is my number one for sure.
Mike.
I'll take one from the UK, one from the United States, and one from Japan, if that's if this can be allowed.
He said two, Mike, not three.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I gave no number. You can give 30 if you want. We got time.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna give 3. But yeah, the Duke, John Wayne Murdoch,
fantastic choice.
Drew Parker, and Toshiyuki Tsukuda.
Ooh,
yeah, that's a good shout. Like,
especially
Jun Kasai, you can barely tell looking at him that he's ever done a death match.
Yeah, no,
you never want to bring him in.
Not a single scar on his body.
Yeah, just pristine as the day he was born. He came out of the womb like that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. No.
And shout out PTP Manny. If he ever comes out of retirement, we want one from him too.
Well, like the gimmick with Manny is he never remembers that he's retired. So he just randomly comes out every few months, be like, yeah, I'm no longer retired.
I would have said honestly,
we're trying.
Yeah. I would have said Green Phantom, but we've had him and he's coming back on April 11th.
Yep, perfect segue, because that was my next question. You've got a big show coming up on April 11th. What can people expect from it? Who's going to be there?
Yeah, we have a ton of big names. So this is our tournament show. We talked about the importance a little bit of the tournament history in deathmatch, but our tournament show is kind of our equivalent to WrestleMania, I guess. Like, this is our biggest show of the year. We've got a lot of kind of feuds that are coming to a head. We talked about Josh Vanderkoos breaking Hardcore's leg last year. Those two are finally going to get their hands on each other. At that show that you were at, Lawrence, Brandon St. James broke 9 of Tyler Arrow's ribs, punctured his lung, nearly ended his career. This will be Tyler Arrow's first match back on April 11th. We have Casey Ward coming up from Pittsburgh, a guy that we both really love, me and Mike. He's challenging Matt Cash. That'll be a fantastic match. We've got Wade Allen defending his hybrid blood and iron title against Loic Duplessis. out of Quebec. We talked about Green Phantom. He is going to be challenging for the Canadian Deathmatch Championship against PD Skills, which is a bit of a dream match, I think. I mean, I think there's a real argument that Green Phantom is one of, if not the biggest deathmatch wrestlers of all time in Canada. I think winning the Canadian Deathmatch title would be like a cherry on top for his career as he's getting older. Winning this would be big for him, and for Petey, I mean, this is the kind of win that's a legacy opportunity for him. So big matches across the board, I think. Mike, what are you looking forward to?
Brian Samuels and that Kyle.
Yes.
At our January show, we were at Sneaky D's in Toronto. Another pinch me, I can't believe we're running wrestling here moment.
Agreed.
Watching all the homies batter each other and bleed each other out on a floor that I've moshed and two-stepped on more times than I can count in my life.
Yeah.
It was very rad. But Brian Samuels, we kind of spoke on his tenacity and his
he's a dog.
He's got the most fuck it, I'll do it attitude I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And there was Hardcore couldn't make it in January. There was that disgusting snowstorm. So that Kyle was left with no challenger that night, and instead of getting a free pass, Brian Samuels, who wrestled earlier in the night, decided, hey, screw it, I'm challenging that Kyle. Wrestled a second time at Sneaky D's, and it led to him getting a tournament berth, and it'll be him and that Kyle in the first round. And Brian Samuels has never experienced the last before in a death match.
Yeah, he's going to get the full death match experience in a way I'm not sure he's ever seen before. So
they're having a glass warfare match. So
jeez,
Brian, this is when I say that Brian Samuels has the most fuck it, I'll do it, like in the best way though, not like in an apathetic, like lackadaisical way. It's like he's got that dog in him, and that dog is like the biggest, angriest Rottweiler that listens to Frank Sinatra.
As they're known to do, Brian Samuels has become such like an underdog fan favorite. The fans absolutely love him because he refuses to quit. I mean, he was in a triple threat match in November. It was supposed to be him against Josh Vandacruz, against Matthew Grant, a three-way match. Unfortunately, Matthew Grant showed his true colors on that show. He joined up with Josh Vandacruz, and it essentially became a handicap match. And Brian Samuels just refused to stay down, even though these two badasses were just beating the hell out of him. So it's the kind of thing where the fans have really got behind him, and he really believes he's going to go on a Cinderella run here in the tournament. So I'm excited to see if he can do it. He's got to get out of the first round against a very experienced deathmatch wrestler in that Kyle first, though.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's one of the ones I've got on my I've got circled. It's
where is that show?
That show is April 11th at the Germania Club in Hamilton. Tickets are Crazy 8, all S letters, so CRAZYEIGHT, and then the number 2026.eventbrite.ca, or you can visit our Instagram or our Facebook. The links are there as well.
Perfect, Mike.
Or our Twitter.
I also want you to plug your stuff. You've been streaming your video editing of Canadian Deathmatch and all the other stuff you do on your Twitch. How's that been? And also let everyone know where they can find that as well.
Oh, honestly, my username is Mike Indeed, no spaces, like everywhere. So if you plug it in on Twitter, Instagram, or Twitch, those are the only platforms I do anything on, because the older I get, the less ability I have to manage multiple social media accounts.
Yeah. Oh, it's a nightmare.
I feel that.
I'm getting to the I might just go with Instagram only soon point. Like we're getting there, but streaming video editing has been it's been cool, mostly because it's been really rad to like share creative ideas and like also be like kind of like educational with it, I guess, in a way. You know, like inform people you know, like there's people who have seen like the way I edit and they're like, oh, that workflow, you know, seems like more efficient. I might try that. Like, you know, like just stuff like that. And then like having random creatives, like especially some of the talented, like super talented photographers and videographers in the Ontario area, they'll like pop through, and just being able to like bounce ideas and like creative theory and stuff like that off of each other has been like super duper. Like one, it's been, you know, it's been beneficial to me in I've absorbed information and like learned new things from like people coming through, but then also to be able to like share that to other people and have other people be like, oh, I never thought of like doing it this way. That's actually great. I'm going to try that. And you know, that kind of shit. It's just been, I don't know, talking about art and creative output and things like that is something I'm pretty happy to do almost any day. So it's like cool to just have a space to do it.
Yeah. Just as we go, Shawn, it's for the socials, it's Canadian Deathmatch pretty much everywhere.
Pretty much everywhere, yeah.
I mean, on Twitter, it's Deathmatch
Canada.
Deathmatch
Just can, I think, yeah.
Yeah, Deathmatch CAN.
Yeah, so if you look up Canadian Deathmatch on Facebook or Instagram, it'll pop right up. Ticket link is right there. You can see kind of the matches coming up. We've got more shows already kind of ready to announce for the rest of the year, so those will be coming out soon, so people can watch for those as well.
Perfect. As for me, you can follow me at KartCNDG on all socials. Next week, we're going to be talking AEW as their pay-per-view. We're going to be setting that up. As well as I'm going to be reviewing WWE 2K26. I've literally got that down in the other room. But yeah, you can catch us on the socials on Love Wrestling CA. Mike and Shawn, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to talk about kind of the backstage stuff and plug what we do. Shout out to Maddie, shout out to Dylan, shout out to Billy, Scott, our videographer, you know, our whole team, and there's so many other people who really help make this stream a reality.
Damn right, Boris.
Yeah, it's been pretty much the theme of the entire episode. Again, thank you guys so much. We'll be back here same time next week. See everyone there. Bye.